Hey, what's up, guys? This is Lavjeet Arora. So, today I'm going to start Java's function, which is mentioned in this book. So, this is as per ICSE class 10 syllabus. So, I'm going to start the functions from this book. So, complete chapter of functions I will try to complete in the same video, right? So, if I talk about this book, so this is our chapter number 5, that is user defined method, and the page number is given there 271. So in this chapter, uh, 271, right? Yes, in this chapter, what we are having, first of all, we are having the introductory part, right? Introductory part of user defined function. What is exactly that? Then the advantages, defining the method. Then afterwards, we are having the construct and components of a method, right? And afterwards, features of return statement, invoking a method, then actual parameters, formal parameters, using static, okay, different ways of defining a function, and um, pass by value and pass by reference, and pure function, impure function, and at last we are having there the function overloading, right? Recursion you don't have in the syllabus, but it is mentioned in the book, but you don't have recursion as per the ICSE class 10 syllabus. So I will complete the chapter user defined from this book. So let's get started. First of all, if I talk about what is a function, in Java we have two type of functions. We have there the built-in function, we have there the user defined function. Okay, so two type of functions we are having. If I talk about the built-in function, that means the function which is predefined. The function which is predefined, let's say if I say that the power function, right? So that function is predefined, its use is predefined, right? That function is from the maths class. Okay, so if I just want to use this function, so first of all I have to use this class, and afterwards I able to use this function. This is called the built-in function. Let's say if I take the example of system dot out dot println. So usually when you are working with Java, so you people are doing this function for what? To print something. To print something we are using this function, right? So this function is predefined in Java, its meaning is predefined in Java. But if I want to use there my own function, if I want to create my own function there, so those functions are called the user defined function, right? I just want to create the function as per the user's choice. I want to give the name to that function, and I want to specify the work which I just want in that particular function. Those functions are called UDF. That means the user defined function. So this is also possible in Java. The possibility of a built-in function, those functions which are predefined in the Java, and the function which are created by the programmer, right? So Java allows us to create our own function also. Those functions are called the user defined function. If I take the example of built-in function, so guys, this is my user defined function. I have given name main, right? Public static void main. We will understand the meaning of that also. Now this is my system.out.println. This is my function here. In that function, what I'm going to do, maths.sqrt. I just want to find the square root, right? For that I need to use the class actually of this sqrt, right? So along with that I can use this function, and now its use is fixed there. That means if you want to find the sqrt, so that you need to use the sqrt function, fine. And let's say we are having their char at function, right? So its work is specified. This is built-in function. You have not created it, I have not created it, right? It is created in Java. Already there, it is predefined. Whenever we want to do work with this type of function, we are just calling to that and we are doing that specific work. Okay, now these are called the built-in function. But here I'm introducing the user defined function. In Java, we are having there the facility where we can create our own function. We can give name to these functions, our own name, right? I can give there the function name, any name, right? So this any name, this is called the identifier. So all the rules which you have already studied in the class 9, so those rules you have to follow there, right? Those rules you have to follow there if you want to give name to any function. I have given there the name, what is sum. I can give there any name, but the name must be start with alphabet. Okay, the name must be must not start with any numerical value. Here you can give their underscore, right? Alphabets can be there. Okay, so these rules we have to follow when we are creating the user defined functions name. Okay, so in this program, what I did there, I have given the return type. My function is going to be written there the integer value, and the name of my function is, that is what, sum. Now I have given there int a and int b, right? So that means it is receiving two values, and both the values are integer type of values. And here whatever you want to do the work, that will be the method body. Okay, so I have given there the name. This is user defined function. Okay, there is no some type of function in Java. I have given my own name, and now this function is behaving like whatever I have written inside that, whatever I want to do with this function. This is called the user defined function. Fine. So moving to the next, that is how to define UDF. First of all, you have to mention there the access specifier, right? Instead of that, as you know that we can give there the public, protected, private. This also we can give. I already mentioned with you guys what exactly the mean of protected, what exactly the mean of private. If you want to check out, you can check out my channel. I have already uploaded meaning of that, right? So here we are using usually what, the public. Public, it is an access specifier. That means the accessibility of this function is everywhere, right? Out of the function also, inside the function also, outside the class also, right? Next, we have to give there the return type of a function. Each and every function is going to be written something. If that is not, so that means you have to put there the keyword that will be void. That means this function is not returning anything. Void means empty. Next, this is just the name of my function. Usually you are using there the main function and you are giving the name, that is what, the main. That is my main method. Okay, so instead of that I can give there any name. Okay, it's just a name. It's just a name. Wait, huh? Okay, so then I have given there integer a, integer b. I think because of my photo you will be unable to see what I have written there, but I'm just telling you what I have written there. It is there integer a, right, and integer b. Okay, so guys, this is what that means. These are the parameters, these are the function signatures there. Okay, these are the parameters there. Okay, parameters value which is receiving. These both are called the formal parameters also. I will tell you about that, what are the formal parameters later on, right? So moving to the next, if I talk about public, so public means it's accessibility. The function accessibility is everywhere. The function can be accessed by outside the class also, outside the package also, right? So this is just the meaning of that. Instead of that, you can write there public, protected and private. I have made a separate video to define that, what is the difference between all these three. You can check out my channel. I have specified there what exact, I have just given the practical also on the basis of that. What does it mean if you will put there public, private, protected, right? So now moving to the next, that is what the mean of a static. Okay, so the static mean is there. What is the mean of static actually? If you are specifying this keyword in front of each and every function, so that means there you need not to create the object of that particular class, and these type of functions can call without taking the help from the object. let me give you the practical of this. Let's take here the small practical. Okay, so yeah, it is my function there, right? So let's take here extra example, right? No, I have specified also static function, right? So see there, this is my class. Okay, so I need to write there the function. Let's say I have given there void, means that will be my return type, right? I am giving there public, and let's say I am giving there static, and the name of my function is xyz, right? So this is my function there. Next, what I did there, okay, I have just this only. And now public, okay, sorry, public static void, I forget to write, I thought I have written, yeah. So see, I have compiled this function. Now what will happen when I will when I will run to this? So see there, my output is coming. Actually nothing will be printed there. Why? Because I have not given there any statement. Okay, I just want to tell you what is the difference when you are using static and when you are not using static. Actually, I have called this function without taking the help, without creating the object of this class. But let's say I am not using the static. So now what will happen when I will run that? Okay, so here it will ask to create the instance of that particular class, right? So that means the static function can call without creating the object. Okay, and the non-static method, you need to create the object first of all. Then and then only you are able to call that particular function, which are non-static. Okay, so here I will create the object, guys. It has created the object. I can change the name also. I can give my any name, right? My choice name. But I have given the name only, which is given by the system, right? So through this object I will be able to see the output, whatever I want to see. But I have not specified here anything. I was just telling you what does it mean if you are using static and if you are not using static. The static method, if you are using in the program, that means all those methods, static is first of all a keyword, right? The static method is also called the class method. These method can call without creating the object of that class. You need not to create the object of that class, right? If you are using there the static keyword. But if that is non-static means if you are not using the static keyword, so that time you need to create the object of that particular class, and with the help of that object you are able to call this function. Okay, this is the difference actually. And if I am using there the void, so void means this is not returning any value, right? So we can give integer, float, anything we can give there. Okay, if you are not returning anything, so instead of that, what you can do, you can simply give there void. Okay, it is mandatory to give the return type here. If this is not returning any value, so you have to specify there the void keyword, right? Otherwise Java is creating an error. Now this main is just the name of my function. Okay, instead of that I can give there any name. Like now only I have given there the name xyz. Main is just the name. Now what does it mean? This is the name of my method. Now these are called this integer a and integer b. These are my arguments there. These are my arguments there. And these are the arguments which are former arguments. Okay, and this function is now, it is specifying that this is receiving the value but not returning any value. I will tell you about that practically also, right? So this is the actual meaning of our functions. Fine. So moving to the next, okay, let me erase that actually, yeah, actually I was having a class right now, so okay guys, hopefully now it will be fine, yeah. Yeah, Okay, so guys, next, this is very very important thing. This is very important that children are having confusion, that they are asking, ma'am, what is function header, what is method header. So method and function both are same thing. So function prototype, method prototype. Guys, this is my method prototype, right? So what I have given there, this is public static. That means no need to create the object of this class, and without object we can call to that, right? Next, this is integer. That means return type, the name of my function, and these are my parameters, which arguments which I'm just receiving from the function call. And this is called also the formal parameters, formal arguments. And this is my function's body. So this is the function prototype. And at the time of function call, we are using this, we are just calling to the function, that is called the function signature. Next, XU specifier, we have already studied about that. If I talk about what is the function definition, or we can say that the body of method, that is what this area is called, the function definition, the body of our function, right? Moving to the next, there is our return statement. There is our return statement. It is the last statement of our block, our function. Okay, you are using this return statement at the last only, right? So afterwards, whatever you are writing, that will create an error, that will not work, that will not run. Okay, so moving to the next. So what are the features of return statement? The return statement feature, the feature number 1, that is what it is given at the end of the method block. It is given at the end of the method block, right? Next, I already told you the statement, return statement, that means that is the end of particular method block. Okay, next, no statement in the method body can be executed after the return statement. If that is the last statement, then how it is possible that the afterwards any statement will run? No. Okay, so a method can return only one value to its caller. We can't send the multiple values. We are able to send only one single value only, right? In case of more than one return statement, the first one gets executed. Obviously, if the return is the last statement, so whatever you are writing afterwards, that will not run. Let's do the practical of this. Okay, so we can take this same example. Okay, public. Okay, so I'm not writing here static, right? So now see guys, this is void. Let's say it is returning something. Now if I try to run that, so it will create an error. Why? Because I have to put there the return statement also, because I have mentioned there my function is returning the integer type of value, right? So now I have to specify what the return here. Okay, let's say I'm returning there 10, right? So that's fine. So now whenever you will call to this function will return you the value 10. Let's say I'm creating a function public static void main. Okay, so this is the name of my main method, and now I just need to create the object of this class, right? Because my method is not a static method. So your example will be clear through that also. Obj, you can give here any name, right? Now okay, so here with the help of obj, I'm calling to the function. Which function? Its name is xyz, right? So I'm calling to the function, I'm not sending any value, right? So now see, if I will run, so this function is returning me something. So now if I will run this, so it will create an error, right? Yeah, it will create an error. No, now there is no error actually. Okay, so that was the curly bracket error only. See, now this function is returning us something now, right? So guys, I have compiled that, and what you are expecting, the result, what you are expecting actually, let me check the output of this. Which function it was? I think this, yeah. So Where is my statement? Yeah, see, I'm not finding any result. Why I'm not finding? Because my output window is not coming. Actually, this is happened because you are returning something, but you are not receiving anything. It is not creating an error, but your output is not coming. So what you have to do, you have to give there integer a. Anything you can give there, a, b, c, whatever. But if it is returning integer, so you also must have to put there the integer only. That means it is returning integer type of value, and here the receiver also should be the integer type of, right? So now let's say a system dot out dot println, okay, and I am printing there a yeah. So now my console window will appear to me. Okay, so this is, let me clear that, let me run it back. Okay, so see there, it is returning me the answer, that is what this. Okay, yeah, see guys, what we have done there, if I'm comparing the answer with the console window, see now first of all compiler will find this. Okay, this is your engine, like an engine, it's work like an engine. The static method is work like an engine, like train engine, right? So this method will work firstly, right? So now we are going to be enter inside this function, and here you have created the object of this class, and with the help of this object you are calling to the function. Which function? This function. Here the name is specified, what, xyz, right? So whatever you want to do, I have done nothing here. Actually I was just telling you what does it mean, the return means. Okay, so here you are just returning there what, return 10. So now it is returning 10 to whom? The function which is called to that. Okay, so the value will be received by this. Okay, the blue color na, so the value will be received 10 by this. So now this value is going to be assigned inside this a, and now you are printing this particular a. Okay, so what we have studied there, actually I want to tell you there, this is written statements features. The first feature is that must be the last line of our method, our block, right? So what I'm gonna do there, let's try to write there something after the return statement. What will happen if I'm going to write something afterwards? Okay, so let's say 10 only, 10, right? So see there, I'm just going to be compile that. So see guys, that statement must be the end of our particular block. Okay, if I am writing it here, so now it is not showing me any error, right? Let's say I am using there the multiple return, so now here also it has created error. Let's say I am giving the value 89, right? So that means I'm assigning, I'm just returning the multiple values. So multiple assignment is not there in Java, like if you have done Python. So in Python we are having there. So in Python what will happen, so this 10 will be received by A and 89 will be received by B. So this type of thing is not in our Java, right? So that is returning only single value, and that will be received by the single argument only, single variable only. Okay, so this return 10, that will be received by this, and afterwards you are assigning this 10 into the A, so that will be printed there. That is very easy, very simple. I hope you people got that. So now I'm moving back to the PPT. Okay, so these all you do the experiments. Programming is equals to experiment. Jitne experiment karoge, you people will learn more and more, right? Next, that is very important, that calling a method, right? So now also I already told you that what is the mean of calling function. We have done example also. Guys, if I'm going back to the window and I'm opening back that, okay, so see there, this is called the function call, guys. This is, I'm calling to the function. Which function I'm calling? The name which I have specified there. This function, I'm calling to this function. Okay, so this is called the function call. This is called the function call, right? So now the function here, this is my main method. Through this main method, I'm calling to the function another function. So that's why this function is called my caller method. and this is called my called method. Okay, so you have to remember this thing. The function, this is my main function. Here I'm calling to the another function. So because I'm calling there, okay, so this is my caller function and this function is called my called function, जिसको call किया गया है. Okay, so this is all about that. How to do the function call, that is very easy. Okay, function, then next actual parameters and the formal parameters. I already discussed with you guys what is the mean of actual and the formal parameter. Guys, this is my main method here. In this main method I'm calling to the function, that is what add function. Now here I am sending the value. A's value will be received by X, B's value will be received by Y. Okay, so these two arguments are there, those are called the formal arguments, and this is called the actual parameters or actual arguments. Okay, moving back to the BlueJ, here let's say I'm sending the value 10 comma 20, anything, right? So now see, if I'm compiling that, so it is creating an error. Why? Because you are sending 10 and 20, but here you have to specify the receiver also. Okay, integer X or whatever you can give there, that is as per on you, integer F. So now see guys, this integer X and F, these all are my formal parameters, and here this 10 and 20, at the time of calling I have used this parameter, these are called my actual parameters. Okay, so we are just sending the value only, we are just sending the value to this. Fine, so here I'm introducing to you one more thing, that is what, that is this pass by value and pass by reference. So here only I'm just telling you the difference between both, right? So if I talk about the call by value, let me tell you here only what is the mean of that, right? So here you are sending the value, only, right? So let's say we are having there integer a is equals to 10 and b is equals to 30, right? So you are sending here what, a comma b. Okay, so now what will happen here, you are sending a and b, right? A and b, this is our a and b, I have specified there w, and here also I need to change, right? So see there, so you are sending the value actually, so that is our actual parameters, and when you are sending the value, so here the receiver will receive the copy of that, it will not receive the original value, right? It will not receive the original value. Here let's say if I just want to do some change, I have done X is equals to 20 2000 or something else. Okay, so I'm just printing that, and I am just printing that what X, right? So and I'm returning here what, X, right? So here I am printing that what W also, guys, what I'm going to print there, W. I'm telling you the difference between call by value and call by reference. So guys, this is also here I just specifying A and B, right? So now let's see here guys, A is equals to 10, B is equals to 20. So you are passing what actually 10 and 30. So what will happen, this original value we are not passing actually. What we are passing, we are just passing the copy of that. So now this copy will be received by X and Y. When you will do some change in that value, integer X, I have done some changes there. I have just changed the value. My value was what? My value was something else. A was equals to 10. So now what I did, I have just made the changes there. मैंने यहाँ पर क्या कर दिया? I just did the change there. Then I have just printed that. Obviously, what will print there? 20000. That will be printed there. So now you are returning X. That means you are returning this 20000 that you are returning. Now that value will be received by this. Now 20,000 that is there, so that will be received by this W. Okay, then what will print there? What will print there? Obviously 20,000 will be printed there. Now I want to tell you that you have passed their A and I have made some changes in that value. Okay, then the changes are not going to be reflect on the original value. Again, you will be printed there A. So what you are expecting that? You are expecting A is equals to 20, or you are expecting that A is equals to 20,000. What you are expecting there? If you are expecting that 20,000, so that means you are totally wrong. That means only A is equals to 10. We are just passing the value only. We are not passing the original value. Okay, we are not passing the original value. We are just passing the copy of these values. Okay, we are just passing the copy of these values. So here, what will be printed? Obviously, the 30 will be printed there. Let me compile that and let me show you the answer of this. So see here, what happened? So we have just called to this method. So it has printed there 20,000, and afterwards we are going to be 20,000 is printed by that. Let me show you back the code also, so that you will be able to compare it more clearly, right? So see guys, yeah, here. So first of all, you have called the function, right? I have just called the function. Yes, I have just called the function xyz. So my value was 10 and 20. So now we reach to this function and the values are received by this x and y, right? So now what happened? You have made the changes in the value of x, which is received by it, right? So you have done the changes there. Next, what you did there? You are just going to be print that particular change. So obviously we will find there 20,000 only, right? So you will be find there 20,000. Now you are returning what? Actually you are returning 20,000 only. Then you return this and this will be received by this function, this call only, right? So now you are transferring this to the W, and when you will print W, so exactly that will be printed the 20,000 only. But my question is there, your original value which you have passed there, that is not changed. That is what? That is still 10 and 30. This is called the call by value, or we can say that pass by value. In the same way, if let's say maybe I have taken the example also. Yeah, in the same way, what we are going to do here, what is the mean of a function call by reference? Here, call by reference means you are passing the object now. You are not passing the value. Let me jump back to the PPT. So here, first of all, you read the difference between both call by value and call by reference. So guys, here your value is going to be passed like we have seen now only. In this parameter, passing method, values of actual parameters are just copy of that. We are not passing the original value, because we are passing the value and values copy only. Any changes made inside the function are not reflected in the actual parameter, Okay, so that also we have seen only, that only we have seen. Whatever we have done the changes, guys, I have made the changes there in the function. What I did, I have tried to change the value which I have received. But all those changes which you have done here, that will not reflect on the main method. Okay, so here A will be 10 only and A will be 30. But I am just saying to you that in the function, in the call reference actually, so here you are not passing the value, actually you are passing the address, you are passing the reference actually. Okay, and any changes made inside the function are actually reflected in the actual parameters. Let's say this is my example. Yeah, here object means you can take here arrays example. This is my array, this is array's object, that name is what, A. So I have used there, I have just created the function object of my class, and with the help of that object I'm calling to the function. Which function, guys? Sum function. Where is my sum function? Sum function is there. So because I am sending there the array, so here you must have to specify the receiver also array type, object type of only. You can't put there A like that, because this A is array, so you need to, so there also arrays must be there, arrays must be there for the receiving, right? So now what is the mean of call by reference? Reference means you are sending now the address, original value you are sending, right? So I have made some changes on the eighth 0 number location. We were having there 2, and I am just putting the new value, that is 1200. Afterwards, when I have printed that, so what I am expecting? I am expecting what? 1200 will be printed on the 0th place. Now you are coming back to the main function. Afterwards, if you are trying to print that, so what you are expecting? You are expecting this value, or you are expecting this. Exactly. This is the meaning of a function call by reference. Call by reference. Here the original object will get reflected if any changes you are making here, right? You are making here any change, that will be reflect on the original value. But in call by value, whatever you have done the changes there in the value which you have received, so that will not reflect on the original, right? Your original will be remain same, right? So jumping back to the PPT, so here I'm reading it again for you guys. Yeah, so our call by value, so integer, float, so these you are using, pass primitive data type. But when we talk about the call by reference, so that time we are using the non-primitive data type. Okay, so this is the bigger difference between call by value and call by reference. So now jumping back, so we were doing there what? Yeah, so we have done this actual parameter and what is the formal parameter, right? So now we have done the static and non-static also. Now let's talk about the different ways of defining a function. So guys, here my parameterized function and non-parameterized function. What is that? Parameterized and non-parameterized. So if I talk about the parameterized function, those function which are receiving and returning, and the function which are receiving only, those are called the parameterized function. Let's say if I talk about the non-parameterized function, so those are just returning only and neither receiving nor returning. So this also, these are called the non-parameterized concept, and this is called the parameterized concept, where you are just receiving, right? One time you are returning also, and one time you are not returning anything. Okay, so let's do the example here. Parameterized, non-parameterized. Okay, so let's take the example here. First of all, let's take the example of parameterized. Okay, where receiving and returning. Okay, so one example of that we will do. Okay, so afterwards you can do more examples which is mentioned in your book. That book is really a great book. This is the computer application with BlueJ. That book is really a great book for the ICSE class 10th preparation for the computer application, right? So guys, moving there, read the function there, the program there. Program is receiving and returning, both the things are there. Our program is saying write a class using a function int num, okay, that accept a number and find whether is odd and divisible by 5 or not. See guys, this small thing we are just doing there. This thing may be easy for you because you have done these type of programs in the class 9th also. But my main motto is here to tell you the receiving and returning. The receiving and returning. Okay. So then it returns 1 if the condition is satisfied. Otherwise it will return 0. Right? So use a main method to pass the number of value to the function. So that is called, this function here, this function is receiving and returning both the things. Okay, so receiving, returning here integer type of value, and receiving here integer type of value. So this is called my parameterized function, where it is receiving and returning both the things, right? So jumping back to the BlueJ, and here I have already made the program for you so that our time will be saved, right? So guys, this is my engine, that means my main method, right? So I have just created the scanner class, and then this is system.out.println, and then what I did there, this is integer value that will be entered by the user. Okay, because what we need to do, if I'm showing you back, this was our program, right? Okay, so in this program we have to create the function that is what, integer num int, right? So let's do this first of all. I have created the function, this is what, int num int, and it is receiving the value also. That means this is parameterized constructor, parameterized method, right? And now you will receive here anything. Nothing is mentioned there, A, B, C. So you can specify here your own name also. Then what we need to do, we just need to find the odd and the particular number which you are receiving here. Is that divisible by 5 or not? If that will be, you are returning integer 1, and if that will be not, you will return the integer 0, right? So guys, the number we will check here, and after that we are returning from there only what, 1, because the number will be divisible by 5, and as well as it will be the odd number, right? If it will be not, so you will return the value 0. So now both the return type that will be returned to the function where you have called to that, this, right? So here it will be received by that, and here only you are just going to be print that. So this is what, where you are returning and receiving both the things. Returning, that means integer type of only, and receiving integer type of only. So this is what, receiving and returning, that is our parameterized constructor. Jumping back there, that there is receiving only. So you can do this program by yourself. Okay, you can do, I have given the example of that. So this you can take as a homework, right? So you can take the screenshot and you can do this same program. Now we are doing the next thing, that is where the receiving only. Program to input a word and pass this word to a function, void display, right? So it is receiving the string type of value that display all the vowels present in the word. Okay, so the thing is very simple. The thing is very simple, but my main motto is to just tell you that it is not returning any value, but it is receiving a value. So this is the main thing that we are going to start there. Jumping back to the BlueJ, opening the question number 3, and what we did there, this is my function main method. Here I have just created the scanner class object. With the help of that, user will enter there something, and now what you're gonna do there, you have created the object, and now you are calling to the function with the help of this object. Which function? Yeah, the display function, right? So that will be received by this. Now after receiving that, you are just performing here the simple operation, and afterwards if anything will be matched with that, because you are going to be checked with vowels, right? If the condition will be matched, so you will print the result here only. I just want to tell you that it is not receiving any return type value. Okay, so this is my parameterized parameterized function where it is just receiving only, not returning. Okay, if that is not returning, so you need to put there a keyword, that is what, void. Okay, that means this function is not returning anything, it is just receiving only. Okay, next, moving to the next, that is the next. Okay, so non-parameterized. Okay, what is there? The non-parameterized. Let me erase that. I was having the class right now. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so now see there guys, non-parameterized function. Okay, so here returning only, what, returning only, and neither receiving nor returning, right? So this is non-parameterized where you are not receiving any value. So both the types are called the non-parameterized. Jumping back to the BlueJ, and let me show you the program first, right? So this is my program that we are going to start there. Program to use a function prime to input and check whether the entered number is a prime number or not. Guys, this function is neither receiving nor returning. That is very simple, very easy. Jumping back to the BlueJ and opening the question number 4. So here, that is our for question number 4. No, I guess that is the question number 5 exactly. So this is a prime function that is not receiving, not returning. So obviously you need to put there the void, and here it is not receiving any value, right? So what we have done, this is my main function. I have just called to this function, that is what the prime function, without sending any value, without receiving any receiver value, right? So the function will be called. Here you are doing the code to check the particular number is a prime number or not, right? So that is again a very easy. So you just need to do the code there inside that, the prime number program. That will be easy for you because you have already done these type of simple programs in class 9th only. Okay, next is there returning only. Next is there the returning only. So guys, reading the question for you, that is what, program to use a function prime to input and check whether the enter number is a prime number or not. If the number will be prime, so that will return a 1, and otherwise it will return 0. So in the same program, I have made some changes there. Guys, let me show you back the program. So that was the same program actually. Okay, so that was the same program, but here it is it is returning integer type of value. So it is not receiving any value. That is non-parameterized function. Two type, parameterized, non-parameterized, right? So guys, here this is my scanner class. Here you will ask the value from the user to check that whether the number is prime number or not. If the number will be prime number, so my flag will not be a prime number. My flag will be what? 1. So 1 means the number is not a prime number. Exactly, that is there. If the number is, let me read that back. If the number is prime number, so it will return 1, and else it will return 0. So guys, what will happen there? Going back, wait, yes. So see there, if the divisibility will be there, so that means this will not be a prime number. So our flag will be 1, right? So now flag will be 1. If the flag will be 0, so that means that will be a prime number. Otherwise flag will be 1 and that will not be a prime number. So as per on this condition, it will return that what? 1 and 0. So here we are putting there again the if condition. On the basis of that, we are just giving the result that if 1 is there, return type, so that will be a prime number. Otherwise it won't be a prime number. Okay, so I hope that this concept is clear to you. Now quickly recap what we have studied till now. Quickly recap there. Receiving and returning, that means receiving also and returning also, right? If I talk about receiving only, here the receiving only, it is not returning anything because it's a void. returning only, that means integer is given there. Anything you can give there. You can give there char also, float also, and this is as per on you. I have just given the example to you to understand the meaning of return. And it is not receiving anything. Okay, next moving there, neither receiving nor returning, so that means void will be there and it is not receiving anything, right? So this was all about that. So from the next video I will do some questions with you, right? So till now what we have done the main concept, call by value, call by reference. So what is left now? Actually a left topic is method overloading, and afterwards we are having there, yeah, nothing is left, only pure and impure functions are there. So that is exactly same as with the call by value and call by reference, but I will tell you again in the next video when I will discuss with you the function, the method overloading. Actually this video is going to be increased. Actually this is a 1 hour video, so that will be so much lengthy, right? So the rest of the part we will do in the next lecture. I hope you people enjoy, and you understood so many, you learned so many things actually. So bye bye guys. If you have not subscribed my channel yet, so do subscribe and do follow me on Unacademy. So bye bye.